Hello, how are you? This is Carrie Merrill. We are on day 7, and I hope you are liking our time together. So, day 7 is about Groundhog Day. And Groundhog Days don't totally need to be a bad thing, but we're just going to reflect on how much of this past year or this past season has felt literally like a Groundhog Day and not in a good way. All right. Now, to get started with exactly what do I mean when I say Groundhog Day, it's the reality that how we enter each day is going to be reflective of what comes up in this next year or season. And whether those habits getting you through that day are creating that Groundhog Day that's going to turn into a Groundhog season or a Groundhog year that just isn't actually fulfilling, right? And every leader knows this intimately. You worked harder, you tried, you adjusted, you pushed, and you strategized. And yet the results feel familiar. Too familiar and not in a good way, right? Same fires, the same frustrations, same patterns, same bottlenecks, same honestly emotional cycles of feeling anger, frustration, overwhelm. All hands on deck meetings where you make those adjustments checked off, but the change doesn't stick. And literally, frustratingly enough, the cycle goes on and on. And quite frankly, this causes, honestly, life fatigue, leadership fatigue. And if you pause and look around, your team feels that fatigue as well. So let's focus on what we can address at this very moment, and that is you. Okay. Now, my statement about Groundhog Day at the beginning of our session today doesn't mean in any way that you didn't grow. But if you're honest with yourself, your habits are probably lagging behind. Here's the thing, right? Movement without progress is a symptom of unexamined intention, habits, and a results review. Now, as you know, I like to give you fun facts. Why is that? Because I don't want you to take this stuff personally. What we're going to talk about is simply reviewing, assessing current behavior and adjustments. And that's how we make that Groundhog Day work for us. So here's my fun fact for you, okay? Neurobiology and psychology have tested widely that, are you ready for this? 95% of your thoughts, behaviors, and emotional reactions and subconscious patterns are repeated daily, literally on autopilot. If you don't pause to become self-aware and reflective, you don't even contemplate which habits are serving you or not. Here's the thing, where I'm about to say honestly is something that is obvious, but people haven't really made time to think about it. Why? Because they're living life. Let's be real. But it's super important for you to understand the statement that I'm going to make. Your subconscious's main goal in your life is to keep you safe. It does not give a flying patootie over what your conscious opinion of success is or safe is. Its requirement is physical survival and safety. But here is the unfortunate truth about this autopilot programming. It's acquired from birth to age 6 and then unfortunately reinforced through our thoughts and emotions. Literally, those thoughts and emotions are like checking off the box over things that you didn't even have control over setting up. So for instance, let me explain. Are you ready? If you're led to believe as a child that you can accomplish anything. And at the same time, you're being told that your physiology and kinetically, you're confirming that, yes, like I can accomplish anything. And that is being repeated multiple times throughout your life, that your perception of things is that you can accomplish anything. That gets subconsciously embedded, like how you breathe. Okay. Now, the opposite also holds true. If you lived through situations where you were told you were weak or lacking in any way, and at the same time that you were told that, there was something emotional, physical, kinetic happening within you, you're going to register that as true. And if that is reaffirmed to you in the same way, you start believing that. You start believing that you're weak or that you don't hold muster in whatever you're trying to accomplish. I mean, these feelings are embedded like really deep inside of you as an identity. Okay, but here is the good news, and that's why I wanted to hone in on this. I call BS on the fact that this doesn't have to be true from this moment forward. From the moment that you've really taken and assessed your situation and identified that, hold up, this isn't like working for me, I call BS. This doesn't have to be your future. This doesn't even have to be your present. Because here's the truth. Here's the plain truth. You are not your parents. You are not your past. You are your future. And I want you to hear me on this. If you don't take the time to pause and reflect on how you want your life to feel every day, what you want to deliver in your life every day, who you want to become in that life, your habits don't change, your season doesn't change, you don't change. And as a matter of fact, your life doesn't stay the same. It actually slowly gets worse. You wake up one day like, what the heck? Whoa, this isn't what I signed up for. And I will raise my hand because I have been in both instances living in that good enough and not in great, not in great. So I ask you now, does every quarter, does every season feel the same? Have you kept solving the same problems over and over again? Have you repeated old behaviors even knowing when you know better? Have you wanted to change but felt stuck in place? You've made progress but kept slipping back. You've questioned your momentum. You feel frustrated that your output isn't matching the effort that you're putting in. And I'm going to repeat this again that I repeat in almost every session that we've had together. These aren't failures, they're signs of habitual autopilot. So here is the truth. You do not have a strategy or goal problem. You have a pattern problem. That negative Groundhog Day or season happened when you don't create that space to reflect, when you stay too busy that you can't even think, when you speed up on a decision to avoid clarity, when you repeat emotional reactions, literally, when you fall into the familiar patterns of leadership, when you manage instead of lead. And here is the big one. You tolerate things that drain you. You don't question the systems around you. What I'm going to say sounds so simple. I've said it multiple times, but what's probably going through your head? You don't have the time, or you honestly don't even know how to do what I'm just about ready to tell you because you never simply thought about it. So I challenge you to get started on these 3 action steps. Number 1, name those patterns that repeated the most in this past year or season. And if you're like, listen, you got me with that one, I'm not going to do it. And I'm going to tell you this. Examine your day to day, because I can guarantee you that you're still executing in the same way. And before you get upset with me, I want to ask you, are you the firefighter putting out the fires in your business? Are you overworking? Are you delaying decisions? Are you avoiding conflict? Are you carrying the members of your team, a department, or a specific process? Are you under delegating? Are you over committing yourself? I know I'm challenging you, but I want to pause a second. By you naming these patterns, you're breaking its power. You're starting to develop a pathway of recognition. And with recognition, you can begin the process of addressing each one. And that is seriously amazing. Remember, we talked about micro steps in earlier sessions. We talked about there being no pressure, no frustration, just that data that we can use to move ourselves forward from this second forward, which leads me to number 2. Now, I want you to stop and I want you to hear me, please. Okay, listen to this, please. Identify the emotional rewards of your patterns. So I want you to think about, what emotional reward do you get from being that firefighter? What emotional reward do you get from avoiding a decision or delaying conflict? What emotional reward do you get from carrying members of your team, from under delegating, from over committing? Every pattern has a payoff. You feel helpful, you feel in control. You avoid discomfort, getting that lack of security. You avoid risk of uncertainty, okay? And most of all, you're protecting the identity that you're living in right now. And we talked about this a little bit in day 3. I want you to think about it. What emotional reward are you getting? I want you to really understand this. What emotional reward are you getting? Are you reducing your anxiety? Once you know this payoff, this reward, which is currently being met, you can begin to shift and move out of this version of the Groundhog Day that doesn't serve you. Because once you identify it, you can replace it, right? Remember, micro steps, some grace, because this is all data, no pressure, no frustration, which is why the challenge is to only start with 1, which leads me to number 3. Choose 1 behavioral shift from this moment forward. Not 10, not 7, only 1. Okay, only 1. When 1 thought and emotion combination changes and gets updated, your habits are going to start changing. Your identity is going to start shifting. Your day and season and year just start changing. Yeah. So today, from this second forward, is new because you walked away with why the past year season felt repetitive, where execution got stuck not only in your business but in your life, and what thoughts and emotional habits drove that cycle. Okay, please do this work because then you can know how to break the loop intentionally. Groundhog Day can be intentional towards the life that you intend to live and feel. Okay, the past is not your destiny. It's not your future. What you do today is. What? Today you stepped out of this loop. So please go back, re-listen, grab a journal, download the workbook I provided. Because please listen, you can't leap into the desire of the life without pausing first and understanding what you really want. Okay. And today we started with awareness, reflection, unlearning, and deciding what's new and executing specifically with that intention. I am so happy. Please DM me, send me an email, comment below, and let me know how this session worked for you. For additional resources and to explore how we can work together, you can join our masterclass or visit thewealthexec.com for further resources. This is Carrie Amaro. I'll see you on day 8. Take care.